we're just days away from crossing the border into Alaska.
We're on Alaskan soil! Woo!
Pushing the limits aboard our small and humble sailboat.
It's the first time we've ever seen ice on the ocean, in our boat, ever. Woo! On our boat, in front of a glacier. This is absolutely insane.
A goal we've been working towards for a very long time.
It's been like half a decade getting our boat ready, getting ourselves ready to be able to take on adventures like this, and we're finally here. It's so exciting. Oh my God.
It's hard to believe we've nearly made it. And the magnitude of this accomplishment is beginning to set in.
It feels pretty surreal to be arriving up here at the top of the coast of BC. Like, we're just miles now away from the Alaskan border, and it seems really surreal to be kind of at this point and at this junction in our journey so far, because now it's happening.
The months leading up to this, we were powering through a lengthy refit, getting our small sailboat ready to take on her biggest passage yet, embarking on a nearly 1,000 nautical mile journey to Southeast Alaska.
We've done all of the stuff up to now, and now we're finally going to get to Alaska. And that's just, it almost seems like it's not happening, like it's not even real yet.
Weaving our way north through the intricate waterways of the Inside Passage, so far we've been dodging gale after gale while trying to keep dry.
Threading the needle between two low pressure systems, and we're trying to dodge all these gale warnings.
Last few days has seen us transiting through a steep ocean fjord, locally known as the Ditch.
We are just leaving Hartley Bay and we're heading for Grenville Channel, otherwise affectionately known as the Ditch.
Where we were faced with strong tidal currents and the potential for fierce katabatic winds that sweep down from the mountains. With all of that behind us, we're now just a day away from the Alaskan border.
Just leaving Grenville Channel, which pretty well wraps up a 2-day transit of this massive inlet. It is actually way more beautiful than we thought. We were sort of dreading this part of the journey because we thought it was going to be a big wet motor along. But the sun came out for us, ended up being some beautiful mountain views, and we actually kind of enjoyed it. I think the prawns definitely added to the stoke of the trip.
We hit the mother lode. Prawns!
Woo! Woo!
Hey!
Wow, that is so exciting! That is the most prawns we've ever hauled up.
That is a perfect haul. Thank you, ocean.
Bucket full of prawns.
So we're on a high because of that. And now we are on our way to Prince Rupert, which is the next major metropolis before we leave Canada and enter the United States.
But before we can cross over, we'll have to deal with a few issues that have cropped up so far on the journey.
It's gonna be something we were gonna have to deal with, and now that we're out here and trying to deal with it, we don't have the resources to deal with it properly.
We're pretty well out of most of our supplies. We've run through all but one last jerry can of diesel, and we're about half full on the tank, so we'll probably have about 20 litres of fuel left on the boat by the time we get to Prince Rupert, which is pretty good. So in the course of 2 weeks, we've gone through 80 litres of fuel. Got to top up the water, we can charge the batteries properly. We've got parts coming to help our charging system, which is really important because it was like the last job I didn't quite get done before we left. We need to top up on fresh fruits and vegetables because we're more or less out, and we need to top up on beer, which is the most important provision that we need because we're out of beer, and we've been out of beer for weeks.
I found 2 beers!
No way, you found beers?
I thought we were
Woo!
Not weeks, we've been out of beer for days.
I think we lost weight.
And we've probably lost a bit of weight, which is good. So you shouldn't drink beer all the time, but man, is it better to have a beer when you're cruising, because oh my god, the coldies are the best.
Finally, we'll need to deal with a bit of an issue that's cropped up so far on the journey.
This is definitely an issue. Shit.
Well, we're pretty bummed out this morning about the condensation situation underneath our mattress in the V-berth. Wet, soggy, moldy mattress is no fun at all. The black mold is actually really bad for your health, and yeah, it's not cool. We don't really have the stuff on board to deal with it properly and make a definitive solution.
So the goal is to get to the port of Prince Rupert, where we should be able to hopefully find the supplies we need to help deal with this soggy situation.
We don't really have a fantastic solution for what we're going to do, but I do have a couple of strips of 1-inch foam that kind of were protecting our batteries from shifting around from the strap, so I took them out And I'm just going to cut them up into thinner strips and lay them underneath the black foam insulation. That way there should be a little bit of an air gap between the fiberglass where the condensation is forming and the bottom of the mattress, and hopefully that's enough to stop the condensation from absorbing up into the foam. This is kind of just like a temporary fix, and hopefully it does the job.
We've got about 30 nautical miles to go before we hit Prince Rupert. We are definitely needing to stock up on a few things. We're pretty good for food, although we're out of fresh provisions, but we do need to stock up on some fuel and some other things, so it'll be a good little stopover. We've got some boat parts waiting for us as well, because we do need to take care of a few projects. So it might look like us going on the hook for a couple of days and then also heading into town to do some of that stuff. We're just coming up to the Skeena River here now, which is a huge river that cuts through the coastal mountain range. It's a pretty iconic river in this part of the Pacific Northwest. Major salmon river.
The second longest river entirely within British Columbia, the Skeena is a crucial salmon habitat, one of the last remaining intact wild salmon strongholds in the world, sustaining a wide variety of wildlife and humans alike here for millennia. But it's also become an important transportation route, connecting the entirety of North America's railways to the open Pacific, a major shipping port for goods going overseas. Much like the Fraser River in Vancouver, it's come under a lot of environmental pressure, and it's calling for more protection.
Heard so much about this territory, and it's really beautiful, so we're stoked to be up here. Yeehaw! We're sailing! Woo! So much better to be moving with the power of the wind. I've been really sick of hearing our big tractor engine chug along for the last few days. I feel like it's been like rattling my brain. And just to turn that engine off, throw up the sails, and be sailing past the Skeena River. Wow, wow. Lost for words. Feels so good to be up here. It's absolutely beautiful. Sunny day, and we're doing about 6 knots. We do have a reefed headsail and a reefed main, but yeah, nice 5-6 knots doing hull speed here on Uinta, and it feels great.
In moments like this, it's difficult to wipe the smile off your face. After weeks of moving about in the rain and cold, soaking up the warm energy from the sun while feeling the boat soar over the ocean in the breeze, there's nothing quite like it. And to be so close to crossing over into Alaska, a goal we've been working towards for such a long time. We're really riding a high.
Feels great to be under sail again. After days of hearing feels like I'm plowing a field. But now we're sailing and it feels amazing. So nice to be out here in the wind. It is a northerly, but that's totally fine because our little light boat actually goes upwind fairly easily. I'm always a little bit confused. I see all these really nice like pilot housed catches around and I'm like, it would be nice to be in one of them. But how much sailing do you guys really do? Come on, be honest with us. Let us know down in the comments and subscribe if you actually like sailing upwind. Let us know what you think about your upwind performance. Do you tack well? Does your boat not handle it? I don't know what I'm doing, so like we can all learn something down there. We got to trim our sails a little bit better though. I think we'll do that on the next tack. Move the car forward perhaps. Clean up some of our reefing lines from the other day. But yes, it's glorious to be alive and sailing again.
Sailing upwind, we were making good but slow progress towards Prince Rupert. And although it's nice to be sailing, as always when tacking, you're essentially doubling your distance.
We all set?
Yep.
Traveling down. All right.
Here we go. Been going upwind all afternoon, making great progress. The boat sails much nicely on the first reef when going upwind, which is something I recently learnt from the guys in the Catalina Facebook group. You guys are awesome. So now we're just a little bit on the beam here. We'll turn downwind and we'll probably drop the sails and anchor up.
The wind has really died down. There's just enough that we can spread our wings and go goose wing through this passage. We're going about 3 knots in through here. It's pretty lovely. The sun is so warm on my face. It's always colder going upwind, but now that we've slowed down a little bit, I'm like really warm. So I might be able to actually ditch this sweater. It's getting me really excited for summer. Maybe we'll get to experience some of that in Alaska. Maybe this is the only day we'll get. We're gonna make the most of it.
Well, we're just coming out of the pass here. We've decided to go in because the wind is diminishing. It's like a very classic summer day style wind where it's foggy in the morning, a little bit of northerly in the afternoon, and then it dies as soon as the sun starts to go down. We just made the turn here to go into Kelp Passage North, which is one of the last anchorages before you arrive in Prince Rupert. There's a few bays you can anchor in Prince Rupert, but this is the last real like anchorage outside. And we didn't want to motor the rest of the way up there this afternoon because it's just so bloody sunny and nice. And after weeks of being out in the grey, cold, miserable weather, it's just too bloody nice to go in already. So yeah, we're gonna pop in here, North Kelp Passage. Maybe there'll be some kelp and we can go jigging for a cod. That would be fun.
Navionics notes say, excellent holding with good protection from southeast weather, fair protection in northerlies, anchor in 5.5 to 11.9 meters with excellent holding over a mud bottom. So,
sounds great.
There's not supposed to be any northerlies overnight, so we should be good in here. I think it's gonna be pretty calm overnight. Yeah, so we'll just head down to the southern part of the bay and anchor up where it's a bit more shallow. Well, we've just spent the last hour or so swinging around here on the hook, enjoying the last of this incredible sunshine. So quiet here, we're the only boat. It actually feels more like a lake than
It does. It has
ocean.
lake vibes. You see land 360 degrees around and it's just a narrow cut back out. It's beautiful.
It's super calm. It's a busy channel behind us, so we did hear some boat noise earlier, but now it is super still. I chopped some veggies for dinner and we're just sipping some wine and just really feeling sun-drenched, salty, and super grateful for this beautiful day of sailing. We're so close to reaching the Alaskan border, which is something we've been working towards for so long. And we really feel like we're back in the swing of the cruising things. And yeah, we're just sitting here feeling super grateful.
We're finally getting there. We're like days away from being in Alaska. The first time we're taking the boat out of the country.
Yeah.
A lot of milestones here. The furthest we've ever been north.
Yeah.
I'm going to be saying that one a lot this year. And we just got to stop in Prince Rupert real quick, reprovision, stock the boat up properly, because Rupert is like the last land-connected town. The only place they can truck food to a grocery store, and you can buy it cheaply. So that's very nice. It feels good.
Pretty yummy taco spread. James cooked up some of those shrimp that we caught yesterday. I think that's all of them. Did you use all of them?
We used all of them, including our one prawn dinner.
So there's a prawn in there. We'll see who gets that one. We'll have to fight over it. Made a pineapple red pepper salsa, a coleslaw. Classic. We're getting to the end of our provision, so naturally there's cabbage and carrots to use. An avocado that survived the trip, and a package of taco shells that we found down behind the water tank. You gotta love that.
Pretty bloody good. I'm pretty stoked. Salsa and the slaw, the avocado, chipotle mayo, fresh shrimpinos, and one prawn. You gotta love a good prawn taco. Absolutely smashingly delicious. Could eat like a dozen of these.
10 out of 10 taco. Like, we're eating 10 of these.
Like, you don't need to go to Mexico for these, do you? Such a long way to sail when you just have them up here.
It's too hot down there.
Good morning. Well, slept reasonably well last night in this little anchorage. You do hear the chugga of passing mega ships. But apart from that, very settled. The halliards were flogging at about 3 o'clock in the morning, so that woke us up as well. But this morning, doesn't seem like there's too much wind, so we're just going to haul up the hook and start working our way towards Prince Rupert. Probably going to be a motor, so we're going to have some breakfast while we're motoring along, and hopefully we can get into Rupert early this afternoon for Seafest. Muddy.
James was hauling up the anchor and felt a puff of wind behind us, and so instead of turning on the engine, we immediately rolled out our head sail and we are sailing off anchor. What a beautiful way to start the day. Might be able to actually sail downwind today.
Yeah, we'll be at least able to sail out of Kelp Passage here out on the north end, and then we can see what the wind is doing a little further out.
I'm making a potato hash bowl for breakfast. Pretty well out of all of our bread. So we're on the potato rations now because we have lots of potatoes. I'm using up some cauliflower, tomatoes, and some other things that are going bad. We still have some eggs, which is amazing. Should be good. I think James is losing the wind though.
Oh, the wind has all but disappeared, so put the head sail away. It decided to completely stop, collapse the sail, and then just disappeared. So we're gonna fire up the tractor and get underway here.
We're kind of obsessed with hot sauce. We don't eat anything unless it's smothered in hot sauce. It's kind of gross.
What's
but
your
also
favorite hot
delicious.
sauce?
Oh man. Depends on what I'm eating. If it's got an Asian flair, I'm like sriracha. Indonesian, we're using sambal. Valentina, pretty well on every breakfast. Same as Frank's, a little bit better. It's like $2 a bottle, super cheap. And then I like some like real spicy stuff. We also like specialty hot sauces, but we don't have any of those right now, so.
So good. Cauliflower, feta hash. Very excellent.
Nearing what is now called Prince Rupert, the scenery starts to make a shift towards the more industrial, for what has become the fastest growing shipping port in North America, linking the entire continent to markets across the Pacific. It's now the third busiest seaport in Canada, shipping everything from grain, coal, and wood pellets to Asia. It's also a summer cruise ship destination. The harbor has been a center for Northwest Coast trade for First Nations people dating back to time immemorial. With the completion of the Grand Trunk Pacific Railway in 1914, things really took off. The port was then further expanded during World War II to support Canadian and US military action in the Pacific. Having never sailed south of Nanaimo, this is for sure the biggest port we've ever entered, and to say it was a bit overwhelming for the senses would be an understatement.
Well, we are just arriving here in Prince Rupert, and there's a couple of options, and we're not really quite sure what we're planning on doing. There's a couple of coves and bays that you can go and anchor in and then dinghy into town, but we also need to get diesel and other things. So we're just tossing up, do we go to a marina, go get diesel, see if there's a courtesy tie-up period and we can run around town and go do some stuff real quick, or do we just go get moorage for the night? Never been here on the water before, so I think we're just going to go have a mosey around, kind of work out what the options all realistically look like, and we'll make a decision from there.
I want true love, waiting there to see. Want that low train to carry me back.
There really is nothing like carting all of your provisions down to your boat in front of the entire town. We're at Seafest here. They're racing these like little wooden plywood boats that they've made. The Coast Guard is here. Everybody in town and their children are here. Wow, it's absolute mayhem, and we're carting all of our provisions down to the dock and like 2 big things of hard cell foam to go under the V-berth. Must look a scene. It's like, excuse me town, why don't we just sneak down to our boat with all of our supplies? Might just put it on the dock.
Well, it's been a hectic morning of running around town, getting everything we need. We got ice, fuel, water, fresh provisions, foam to help deal with the condensation issues in the front of the boat. Now we've got the chore of measuring out this foam for the V-berth and cleaning out the ice boxes so I can put the new ice and all of our fresh goods in. The wake is pretty bad. There's a lot of boat traffic and we're just getting sloshed around. Bit of a mess to clean up, and then we're getting the heck out of here.
We've cut our foam now, we've installed it. It covers the entirety of the V-berth, and it's about 2 inches thick, which gives it an R value of about 10. We're hoping it's going to create a really good thermal break between the cold air coming up from the hull, which is all the ambient ocean temperature, and then our hot body air coming down from our bodies when we're sleeping on the mattress. It's kind of meeting here around on the glass and forming a whole lot of condensation that's then been wicking up into the mattress. We're really hoping that the insulation is going to create enough of a thermal break to stop the condensation from forming on top, up near our bodies and wicking up into the mattress. That way, hopefully our mattress will stay a lot drier and we won't have the mold growing in it as much as we were earlier. I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about the mold in the foam per se. We're just gonna have to worry about it down the track when we get back from this Alaskan trip. But at the moment, hopefully the condensation won't continue and the mold won't get any worse.
And with all that dealt with, we were off the dock and making our way back to the wilderness.
We just came across here to Russell Cove, which is one of the 3 anchorages across from Prince Rupert. You do get a little bit of wake in here, it says on Navionics, so we're gonna try and tuck in behind this islet here and see if we can set the hook in the shallow bay and be out of the way a little bit. It's definitely a happening place in there. Seafest is Prince Rupert's big weekend of the year. The dock was really busy and honestly it was a bit much, so we got out of there pretty quick. And we're hoping it'll be a little bit quieter over here. We can dinghy over to Rupert and have a nice cold beer later. But we're still sort of away from it all, which is good.
Glad we came over here because, yeah, Prince Rupert was bumping Seafest shenanigans. But yeah, we're gonna drop the hook here. Nice shallow bay, should be good mud holding. Might throw a crab pot down because it's probably a good place for the crabs to hang out. As part of our electrical upgrade here on Uinta, we are planning on changing out our little tiny internally regulated alternator for this big externally regulated alternator, which essentially is going to turn our engine here into a generator. And on all of those long motors up channels without any wind going up the inside passage, it's going to be really, really handy because that means Al can sit here and edit and charge her batteries and everything all the time while, you know, more or less just having unlimited power, which I think is going to be a complete game changer. The main problem when putting this in is it's quite a bit larger than our other alternator. And we have to change the brackets and the mounting hardware on the engine here in order to get it to line up. And then we've got to change the whole wiring harness in order to run it. So that's going to be the challenge here. How do we actually get this thing to fit on the front of this tiny engine? Yeah, I guess we've got to pull it apart and start trying to work it out. the Alternator Project is still, it's not really working out. I can't seem to get the brackets to align properly to get the alternator in the right spot and get it all hooked up correctly. So I think that might be a project for later on down the track. Hopefully we'll be able to rely purely on solar power to get us through the next couple of months while we're out here cruising, and we can tackle this Alternator Project down the track. I'm a little disappointed that it hasn't all worked out for us, but hey, that's cruising. Sometimes you're fixing things in exotic locations and sometimes you just don't quite get it fixed. Nevertheless, we're going to Alaska, so stay tuned for next time.
One thing that is fixed is our soggy V-berth situation.
Yeah.
So really stoked that this foam is making a difference. We think we have an interim solution that'll get us through the rest of the cruising season. So that's a huge win this week.
No more waking up in a puddle of condensation, and that's really gross.
And that's gonna be really important because where we're gonna be looking at a lot more rain and wetness.
Yeah, not to mention the ocean temperature is going to go down because there's going to be ice in the water. And yeah, all of that is going to form more condensation in our boat, so stay tuned for the condensation saga.
Join us as we continue north into the ice, into the colder waters. We're crossing over into Alaska in just a day or so, and so the next episode, you'll be joining us on that journey. We'll be literally in Alaska, on Alaskan soil, and we're so excited to share that leg of the journey with you guys.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we're going to be up there. We're going to make it. And it's just super exciting. So we want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons and all of the people who subscribed and comment and like the videos. You guys are all legends, and we'll see you next time up in Alaska.
We'll see you next time. Cheers.